Hello YouTube, this is Mahadeva. All right, so I am back. I was briefly unable to post on this channel. I won't get into it, some of you probably already know, but in case you don't, one of my videos was flagged by YouTube as violating the YouTube community guidelines. And I appealed that, and the direct result of that was they gave me a strike and I was blocked for a week. As it turns out, when they looked at my video to see if in fact they were going to uphold the warning, they found another violation that they didn't like, and so they gave me a strike even though they had already warned me and deleted the video. So, let the listener beware. They are very vigilant about these community guidelines. I'm not going to spend time talking about this on this video. I've talked about that on other platforms. And what this has done is it's put me on multiple platforms. So I am on Odyssey.com, ODYSEE.com, and Twitch.com, TWITCH.com. And when I go live, which hopefully will be every Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, I'm going to be streaming on multiple channels at the same time. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. We're going to be talking about the lightning Qigong, and specifically today I'm going to be talking to you about your intention, your power to create actually comes from the heart center. And I'm going to tell you exactly what that is. I'm not just going to sit here and talk to you intellectually about focus on your heart and intend. Nothing wrong with that, but we're going to get into the science of it. What actually makes up the energy that creates universes. You are destined to have the power to create your entire universe. Far beyond even what I think I can tell you that you're able to do. All right, so we are talking about lightning Qigong. Lightning Qigong is a form of Qigong that has been held secret for over a couple thousand years, and it uses a completely different meridian system along with the normal traditional meridian system that is used in traditional Qigong, Tai Chi, and other types of energy work. So, lightning Qigong taps into the power of the lightning that resides in your heart. So in case you haven't heard about this, if you've been following me, you've heard me explain it, but I'll explain it very briefly. You have multiple energy systems within the body. Of course, you have the physical body itself, and you have the nervous system, but you also have the chakra system. You have the 7 chakras that are areas of energy transmission within your spinal column that have to do with the 7 levels of your psychological reality. So the chakras, when you meditate on the chakras to open the chakras or empower the chakras, you are actually empowering different psychological levels of maturity. Each one of the chakras deals with a different level of psychological maturity in terms of your interface. The Kundalini rises up through the chakras, and the Kundalini is the energy that interfaces your soul with your psyche. Okay? So Kundalini awakening and Kundalini awareness is all about becoming psychologically enlightened, psychologically aware, so that your soul can bring divinity to your human psychological construct. Okay? I don't know if that makes sense to you or not, but that's a specific energy system. Then you have another energy system in the body, which is the prana or the chi. So whenever you do pranayama, you do breath work. Whenever you do qigong, energy work dealing with life force energy, You have meridians in your body that are also overlapping the same Kundalini meridians. You have meridians overlapping the body that send life force energy to the cells of your body. You have 3 major energy centers in the body that deal with taking this life force energy, and they're called cauldrons, and actually refining the energy in different ways. The navel center refines the physical energy. This is why martial artists and yogis and even people who, like performers and singers, they focus on the navel center. I've got my hands on my navel center right now. They focus on empowering that. This is why yogis and martial artists, they traditionally wore sashes around their navel center. Even, when you go to the gym and lift weights, people wear belts. Truth is, belts, I've been lifting weights for a long time. Belts do almost nothing. But what they do on an unconscious level is they get you focused on the physical energy center so that you can use life force energy to empower your physical body. That's also the lower center of your self, which has to do with your psychology, your awareness, all kinds of things like that. We talk about the lower self. You have the middle self, which is where your soul exists. And we're going to be talking about this today, specifically how to use that to create your reality. And this is where the soul exists. And this is where the secret energy system called the lightning energy. This is the lightning energy of the heart. This is called the heart mind. We'll come back to this in a moment. And then you have the upper center, which has to do with your higher awareness, your connection to the gods, to the ancestors, and your ability to intuit and get messages from the beyond. So you have these 3 energy centers. You have the Kundalini, which rises up through the spine, and then you have all of these meridians all throughout the body, which connect to the different centers and the different energies, right? So that's the whole picture of it all. Now, when it comes to intending reality, there's no shortage of videos on YouTube you can watch, which will talk to you about how to take your intentions and create reality. And they're almost right in some ways. As you know, there's some things about the law of attraction that I'm not a big fan of, because I think at the very least they're inaccurate or incorrect. I won't get into that in this video. But the one thing that is partially true is that your emotions do have something to do with your ability to intend your physical reality. What you don't know, what you're not told, is actually the science that helps you to remove the blocks to your intentions. So let me be very clear. If you want to be a master of intending your reality, you are going to have to master the heart center, and you are going to have to learn patience. As it so happens, the heart chakra itself, when you meditate on the heart chakra, one of the lessons that comes up is patience. Because the heart chakra, when it comes to Kundalini and it comes to your psyche, each chakra has a positive and a negative. There's a dark side and a light side to the chakra. When you have achieved awakening, which is really you've become mature in each chakra, then you're operating from the light side. If you are immature, if you have lessons to learn about becoming more mature spiritually in whatever lesson that chakra holds, then you will be operating from the dark side. The dark side of the heart center is impatience and judgment, and also grasping and holding people hostage. So somebody's heart chakra can be opening and they can be learning, but they'll be operating from the dark side. They'll be impatient, they'll be judgmental, they'll be quick to judgment, they'll snap in anger, and they may become very possessive. If they fall in love with you, they'll be very possessive. If they are on the dark side of the heart chakra and they're experiencing some kind of spiritual path, then they will come to the conclusion that their path is the only path and you all need to become part of their religion. So religious fundamentalism, all of this has to do with the heart chakra. It's interesting, I went through this experience with being, what I considered cancel culture on YouTube. And as I'm sitting here thinking about it, it's that, this whole cancel culture thing that's going on in society, where people are quick to tell people what to do, what to say, what to wear, how to act. It's really an overreaction to a very real issue, but it's because the heart center, which has been damaged, there's been pain, it is operating from the dark side. So it's impatient, judgmental, and it tends to take people hostage in their own, understanding of what is good and what is true and what is loving, etc., etc. All right, so you need to learn that lesson, because this lesson of patience, being able to sit with yourself, when you are aware that you have blocks. One of the most, if not the most, asked question that I get is people ask me, Mahadeva, how can I break through this feeling? How can I get over my fear? How can I get over, whatever the feeling is? And how can I learn to get through my blocks to intend my reality? Well, ironically, the harder you push to get rid of the block, the more the block becomes more intense. So this is the path of least resistance. This is the path of no path. This is the path of no action. So, as you know, I talk about taking action, but you have to learn this koan, which is, in order to take action, you have to learn how to flow and not take action. And you may be asking yourself, what the heck does that mean? That's why it's so important to be able to know what your soul desire is, which will be joy. You can't force joy. Joy comes of its own. Joy comes when you surrender. When you surrender to what is. If you want to change what is and create what is yet to be, if you want to get out of your limitation and get into your highest potential, one of the first things you have to do is surrender to what is. And you have to have feelings about what is. I bruised my rib 16 days ago. I can't surf. It still feels the same as it did 16 days ago. It still hurts exactly the same. I'm wondering, when the heck is this thing going to get over? Well, I've had broken and bruised ribs before, so I know there's no short path out of this. You just got to wait. It's going to hurt, and sometimes it feels like it's getting worse before it gets better. That is also the same when it comes to the heart center. When it comes to getting rid of the blocks between you and your intentions, you must have patience. This is why it's so important to be doing this work every day. Now, let me once again reach out to those of you who are doing this work. If you're new to the channel, this power of this lightning Qigong, this forbidden power that is the power of ancient Maoshan Taoist sorcerers and wizards, this power of the lightning is coming from the heart center. But again, let me explain to you what this lightning is. So this lightning is the most powerful force in the universe. This is more powerful than Kundalini. It is more powerful than prana or chi. But it is connected to and stimulates both of them. This power has the power to destroy any negative energy that exists in the universe. This power has the ability to destroy any blocks between you and your highest potential. This energy has the power to destroy blocks that anybody would throw against you. Any negative energy, any black magic, any darkness, any demon, any power, anybody that's got anything negative towards you, this lightning power is more powerful than all of them. And that is the part of the secret. So in this heart center, you have your soul. If you've heard me talk about it, your soul is an infinite point of minuscule light. It's this tiny, tiny point of infinite light. It is itself a portal to infinity. This infinite point of life that contains all power and all knowledge and all existence and is made up of pure light and pure joy. This tiny point of light wanted to come into three-dimensional manifestation and experience this earth with all of its challenges and all of its amazingness, everything that has to do with this drama that is living in three-dimensional reality. This infinite being, which is you, your soul, lusted to come here and experience this and to have joy and to overcome and learn and grow. Now, this soul is so incredibly powerful. If your soul were to leave your body and were to experience three-dimensional reality without an interface, it would destroy all of creation. It would create a hole in three-dimensional reality that would go to infinity, and that infinity would completely destroy the limitation that you live in. I mean, I'm talking about this, I'm getting chills as I talk about it. So in order to keep this infinite point of pure light, of infinity, and of pure joy from destroying three-dimensional reality, it had to put itself and clothe itself with the power of lightning. Lightning, Thor, the god of lightning, he fights against all negativity. He is constantly off in the eastern direction, which is the path of the identity, and he fights against the limitation of the trolls and the giants, which is similar to the demons. Demons are ego that's eating itself alive, the narcissism. So he's constantly fighting against narcissism, and he's also defending your ability to have an identity and an ego. He teaches the balance. Thor is the balance between infinite deity and finite human identity, which is why he is half giant and half God. So this is talking about you as well. You are not just this physical three-dimensional human. You are infinite. You are a celestial deity. You're even greater than the celestial deities. Your soul is beyond the celestial deities. The celestial deities look down upon you in your three-dimensional reality and wish they had the right to become you. This is what Vishnu is in the Vedic tradition. Vishnu is is God incarnate in the flesh. That's the soul. Vishnu is the soul. You are that. In fact, that's one of the most fundamental mantras. Om Tat Sat. I am that. You are that. You are Vishnu. Shiva says, as one of his mantras, he says, Shivoham. Shiva, I am Shiva. You are consciousness. The gods wish they were you. This is the power of being in three-dimensional reality. Now, to keep that intense power from, as I said, destroying three-dimensional reality, only the power of lightning can hold it in place. And this power of lightning, whenever the harshness of two-dimensional reality hits it, you're disappointed, you're saddened, you're hurt, somebody actually does harm you, something minor, somebody you love, within their right decides they don't love you. They have the right to do that. That's devastating to the soul. The soul doesn't understand that. The soul comes from a place of complete love, complete connection. It does not understand being hurt, being rejected, being betrayed. That's why it's so painful. That's why people talk about life being so painful and so unfair. It's unfair to the soul. The soul isn't used to it, because when you're out of the soul, every other being and every other consciousness you experience is also full of love. Nobody judges anybody. You merge with everything and everybody. There's no favorites here on earth. Even you reject people, you accept people. There's this harshness. And it's in order to protect the soul from this harshness, the lightning surrounds it. This lightning is a feminine power. It is a goddess herself. You have a goddess within your body, an infinite goddess of lightning that is surrounding and holding and caressing and nurturing your soul, allowing it to have this experience. Whenever anything happens, whether somebody does something harmful to you, whether something in the world happens, or whether you just get your feelings hurt because something didn't go your way. Let me just spend a moment on that. We tend to tell people, I've said it, grow up. Time to grow up. Snap out of it. Come on, pull up your britches. But the truth is that even the slightest little disappointment can be devastating to us. Little kids, if you don't give them what they want, they burst out into tears and they cry. You don't look at them the right way. You don't want to play a game with them right now. You don't give them a cookie. It's devastating not to get what you want. The soul isn't used to that. So we have to have that feminine power surrounding your soul, holding it, nurturing it, letting it know it's loved all the time. But this lightning power can get taxed. Now, you are supposed to learn from every disappointment that comes your way. And if you do ruthlessly and fearlessly look at every disappointment that happens, and if you process it and learn from it, then that lightning power goes back to full capacity. But if you keep pushing, to learn, if you keep pushing to get past the block, you're doing yourself violence. You're judging yourself and beating yourself up for not being perfect. You have to go through the process. So those of you who are doing the 90-day challenge, the Lightning Qigong challenge, you know what I'm talking about. You are experiencing first the power that comes when first you begin to do the practice that I teach you, the morning practice, where we stimulate the kundalini, we stimulate the prana, the chi. We open up the heart center to get connected to our deepest desires and the joy within. And then you do the nighttime practice where you use your energy, your Qigong, and your mantra to go in and to reprogram your programmed self, your false self. And what ends up happening is that you become conscious. The heart center that's holding on to each specific wound says, oh, I can release this now. We want to look at this. Let's take a look at this. You remember when so-and-so hurt your feelings? Do you remember when somebody was really cruel and horrible to you? Do you remember when life was so seemingly cruel and the person you loved died, or you didn't get that job? You remember how devastating that was? Now let's take a look at your agendas. You had an agenda on what you wanted and you didn't get it. And that hurt. You weren't a victim. You wanted something. It didn't happen the way you wanted. You wanted somebody to treat you a certain way. They didn't. It devastated you. You focus on yourself. It's hard. It's painful. There's a protection around it. Maybe you need to cry. Some people are doing this and they're crying more. They're more connected to the disappointment and what they didn't get, and the crying releases it. Did you know that when you cry tears, that there's toxins in your tears? Did you know that? So every time you cry, you release toxins, physical toxins, but the toxins of the soul. And so as you go through that first phase, You get all kinds of power. You start to know where you're going in life. You have the joy, and you start to become more aware. And it can be frightening. Then in phase 2, we are stimulating the 5 elements. So the specific meridian system that taps into this lightning power, it's a specific meridian system that also taps into the 5 elements. So you can tap into the 5 elements of the lightning power. And that has to do with stimulating different parts of the hand, different fingers, different parts of the palm, different parts of the arm. This will go directly into the lightning power and release it. And when you feel that come through your body, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The power that starts coming through your hands. By the way, keep doing it. The more that you do the exercises, the more it accumulates and the more power starts coming out of you. For some people, they'll experience power coming out like they've never imagined. For some people, the power is very intense and then it starts to calm down. But they don't realize that's all that's happened is that the meridians have opened up and they've gotten used to all that power. Just like a bodybuilder, in the beginning he starts, wow, I'm really lifting more. And then as they get stronger and stronger, they get used to how strong they are. They don't realize it. Superman, it's not a big deal for him to pick up a bus. He's not aware of how powerful he is. And then there are some people, they start to open up the meridians of the 5 elements and they start working through the emotions. The power of learning to work through your resentments, working through your sadness, working through your impatience, and also learning how to have joy. The power of learning how to trust and really becoming conscious of the fear that you have of not trusting the universe, not trusting the mother, the goddess, and learning how to become honest about those things that cause you confusion. And all of that, the bottom line to be able to master the 5 elements is to trust. Now, those of you who've done this, you know on a much deeper level. The first thing I taught you when you signed up at thunderwizard.com and you started studying the Shamanism Mastery course, now you're starting to understand why. I've told you from the beginning, the first thing you have to do is trust the universe. Expect that the universe loves you. Become conscious of all of your fears and all of your conspiracy theories and all of your mistrust of the universe, all of your anger and your hatred. Drop all victim mentality beliefs. Drop all the belief that there's a false being of light trying to keep you from escaping the matrix. Drop all of the belief that there's some secret alien conspiracy and that people around you you got to drop all of it. Doesn't mean there aren't evil people and conspiracies. It just means you don't have to be affected by it. The universe loves you, and the matrix is far more powerful than any conspiracy theory out there, even if that happens to be aliens and beings of light. You and the universe are a unit, and the universe is your mother, and she loves you. She would never let any harm come to you as long as you allow her to protect you. Now, you have the right to go do your own thing. You have the right to go do your own thing and be your own thing. And if you want to hold on to those beliefs, nobody's going to stop you. Mother Hela, Mother Kali, they will not stop you from any of those beliefs. And if you want to do that, you'll get yourself, blocked up. All of that doubt and all of that fear blocks you up. Now, it's okay to feel fear, but the more that you indulge in that and take actions and create beliefs based on it, the more blocked you become, because the more energy your lightning center has to go to protect you. So we are moving into the next phase, which is to be able to intend. And in this phase, you actually become like God. I say you become greater than God. If you master this lightning power of the heart, God must serve you. God must bow to you and serve you. You created God. You created God in your own image. Religion has it backwards. It says God created you in his image. That people think, oh, human beings are like God. No, it's the other way around. Humans created God in their image. So you are greater than God. God must serve you. Now, when I say that, does that make you uncomfortable? Does that frighten you? Whenever I say it, big parts of me scream, blasphemy. But it's been the truth. You are the one that decides. But that can only happen if you have access to your soul. The more access you have to your soul, the more ability you have to create. Now, once you free up, when you do these practices and these things come up, and you have to let go of past issues, and I teach you how to go back in time and to meditate and go back and heal those wounds so that you can get your power back. When you get your power back, then the lightning is there to serve you. And instead of it focusing inward to just keep the soul protected, now you create this much larger field of lightning energy around you that you can then direct into three-dimensional reality. And that power of the soul, the power of the heart, the power of emotions, the power of love, has now the ability to go out into your reality, and you begin to create entire universes. You are now worshipped by everything around you, and everything serves you to create. So I just wanted to say, first of all, I'm back. I'm sorry I was gone for a week. I wasn't I wasn't able to keep that from happening, but I'm on multiple platforms now, as I said. Twitch.com, Odyssey.com. You can also catch me on live streams at my Facebook, so The Path of the Thunder Wizard on Facebook. And there's other things that I'm putting up. We'll see, maybe Daily Motion, maybe some others as well. But I'm going to be expanding, and I invite you to go and subscribe to me on those other platforms. You can just look for me on all those other platforms as thunderwizard.com. Thunderwizard, DOTCOM. And that will, help me, because the more that I get followers on those other platforms, Twitter as well. I'll be able to be live on Twitter, at least for the time being. Maybe Instagram will work on that. But the more that you can support me on these other platforms, the more I can have a bigger base of support, because, we've been depending on YouTube, for a long time, and anything could happen. Things are very volatile over there. So we need to have other places that, if you're a creator, to back up your stuff. Because if YouTube went down or you got kicked off, you'd be in big trouble, especially if your career is based on it. So my career is based on this work. It pays the bills. If you want to support me and you want to keep me doing this, then go to thunderwizard.com and subscribe at whatever level you want. Like I said, if you just subscribe at the base level, you will have access to hundreds of hours of the Shamanism Mastery course. There's the Manifestation Mastery course, and then there's the Lightning Qigong, which if you click around, look for Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. And again, the more people that subscribe, the more stable I'm going to be, the more time I can spend working with you, the more things I can give to you, all that good stuff. Subscribe, hit the bell button, and check out all of these other links. You've got these other things, courses.thunderwizard.com. There's a lot of stuff on there that I have available, which also supports me. You can get your hands on all kinds of different courses and products and services that keep us going. Anyway, that's it. So keep your eyes peeled. I want to give it an exact date, but I'm saying right now we're probably a couple weeks out from the Hands of Creation, which is phase 3. Phase 3 is the Hands of Creation. It is a whole other level. But please, those of you who are asking, please don't rush this. Take one phase 90 days at a time. Do not rush it. In fact, you're more than welcome to spend more time on each phase, especially if you are going through a lot of cleansing. If a lot of emotional things are coming up and you're accessing memories and some of the wounds that your heart center is working through, don't be afraid to take your time with that and don't rush it. Better to be consistent and do what you know you can do every day than to try and overdo it, because we'll talk about that in some upcoming videos. The power that is awaiting for us further down the line. All right? I could go on and on and on, but I'll let you go. Thunderwizard.com. Warrior 90-day lightning Qigong coming up soon. Hands of Creation. All right, that's it for me, guys. I will see you soon. Take care of yourselves.